Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Freddy, and for this video we want to see how the mobile money transfer system that was invented in Kenya called M-pesa works. So this is just a Microsoft Word kind of illustration. This is what I could get in that short period, so don't mind it. So what is M-pesa? M-pesa is just a Kenyan mobile money transfer system with M standing for mobile and pesa is just a Swahili word for money. So M-pesa is simply mobile money transfer. So how does M-pesa work? So just before we start coding our own version of M-pesa, we need to find out actually how the real system works. So we don't know how the real system works. That is left only for the inventor and the company. But we as the customers, we have devised our own way of how we think it works. So, excuse, in the M-pesa system, there is always the customer on one side and another customer on the other side. Now, on this side can be another customer or an agent of M-pesa or a business. So M-pesa offers so many services. You can pay to a service, you can send money to someone, and you can buy airtime, and we'll see all those in a short while. So let's say, for example, this is him. You want to send money to her. Now this is the real person and this is the real person. Now on the M-pesa servers, you can see this emoji, I don't know how it is called, looks like this one, and this one looks like this one. That is to say, M-pesa have real account of his or her, not her, of its customers. So for example, if this person, let's say this is me, this is the SIM card that I bought that has the M-pesa system in it. So this is my SIM card and my account is here. So the account number is your mobile, your SIM card number, if that makes sense. So your account number, just like bank, you have account numbers. So for this system, your account number is your mobile phone number. That belongs to Safaricom, the provider of M-pesa. So if you want to send money to someone, you don't send money directly to that person. Otherwise, that can't happen. So there won't be even no proper, how do we call it? There won't be a proper server to store, because the money just comes from you to this person. So if this person said that he didn't receive the money and you are the only one who sent it and you deleted the message, there won't be anything left. So that is how M-pesa diverts their way, so that if you want to make a payment or you want to send money to someone, you first make a request to the servers. Now this is not a normal request that post or get request like you will hear so many programmers say. This is just a request, like a normal English word for request. You make a request to the server telling the server, hey server, can you deduct 1530 from my account and add it to this person's account or to her account. Then the M-pesa will make that transaction happen. It will deduct the said amount from your account, let's say 1530, and add it to her account. And once that is completed, the M-pesa will give you a response. Now response can be so many things. Let's say you don't have enough money to send this, maybe your balance is lower than the amount you've entered, or you don't have full amount to pay even for the transaction fee. Then that M-pesa will tell you that your account is insufficient, you need to top up so that this transaction can be done. Or if you have maybe you've entered a number that does not belong to her, you will be informed, or the number is not in service, you will be informed. So response is just the answer you get from M-pesa, such that you know if the transaction has gone through or not. So once you received that information, and the information again can be telling you that the request you made has been accepted and the transaction has gone as expected. So that response, you will get it through an SMS. The whole thing works through SMS. So after the transaction is completed, the person whom you are sending the money will get a notification that somebody has sent you such and such amount. For this case, it is 1530. Now why did I add 1530? Because 1500, if you want to withdraw it here locally, the transaction fee is 27 Kenya shillings. So that is why most people always send money together with the withdrawal fee, so that you don't deduct your own money to withdraw it. So this is the response that I was talking about. Now if that transaction has gone as expected, this is the response that you as the sender will receive. So this is where the programming starts, and these are the things that we are going to create. So first, there is this confirmation code. This is a 10-digit code with the letters and numbers that run systematically and in a certain order. So you'll see this, that confirming that 1530 has been sent to Online Tricks. So Online Tricks is the name of the person whose number you entered. So let's say her name is Online Tricks and her number is this. This is my WhatsApp number. On this date, the date of the transaction, at this time, then it will notify you that your M-pesa balance is this one. Then the transaction cost is 12. I don't know if that is correct, but this is just for demo purposes. Amount you can transact within the day is 298,850. So daily M-pesa transaction adds up to 300,000. So you can transact up to 300,000 per day, but 70,000 per transaction. So this is updated. So this means that this person maybe bought airtime in the first place or did other things. So if you take this amount minus 300,000, you don't get this, or 300,000 minus this does not bring you here. So this means that this person has been using his account before this transaction. So on the notification that this person, she will get is that this, and notice that this transaction code has to be the same as this, because this is just one transaction. This is the response to the sender, and this is the notification to the receiver. It is just the same transaction. So this transaction code has to be the same. The time and date has to be the same also, because these are numbers that are generated by the servers. The time and the date and everything is generated by the server. The only thing that you enter as a customer is the amount and the number of the person whom you are sending the money. So because somebody can just, okay, sometime maybe you are from abroad and you didn't reset your time, or your time is not updated automatically, so your time may differ from the current time. So that is why the server time is the one that is being used, so that if your time is ahead or behind, it doesn't matter. The server time is what will be sent to you. So once that person has received the money, you will get this notification that you have received 15 from Freddy Nice. This is the number of the sender. On this date, your new M-pesa balance is, and then there's always an advertisement at the end of the transaction. So that is just some of the things that we will be doing. So going on, in case you are shopping, the transaction code will be there confirming that you have paid, sent to market for account, this on this new M-pesa balance, it is just the same thing, only that the numbers and the dates are differing. That is for shopping or paying for services, then if you buy an airtime for your own SIM card, it will come like this. You bought of airtime at this time, new M-pesa balance is this, transaction cost always is 0, and the amount you can transact is this one. Let's say you deposit cash, so it comes like this. On this date, give to, this is now the agent, the M-pesa agent that you deposit the money through, and this is where it is located. So the new M-pesa balance is this and this. So let's now open our editor and I'll show you how this is done. So this is my own version of our understanding how M-pesa works. M-pesa is more complicated than everybody can tell, and it was invented in 2007. So you can calculate from 2007 up to now. You can estimate how many changes have been made and how complex it is now than it was in 2007. In 2007, it was just to send and receive money only. Now all this payment, bulk payment, and all this have been added in the recent years. So it is now complex, and this is just for entertainment and for educational purposes, so that you know how Python works. So the reason why we are seeing this thing on Microsoft Word is because I want us to understand how it works, so that if you know other programming languages apart from Python, you can just develop your own and share with the channel how it is done. I will do this on Python, but you are allowed to do it in any other languages and share it with us. So let's go to our Visual Studio Code and Hello, welcome back. So let's see how I coded this. It has been shown to you, but in a very high speed. I forwarded because I typed it slowly. So what I did is just to create a class of M-pesa or F-pesa, or I just want to use F for my initials, which is Freddy. So F-pesa. Then I define the initialization. This is just to define underscore init underscore self. Then within this self, then we have self.customers list. Then the list is empty. Self.logged in is false because you have to meet certain condition for it to become true. Then your self.cache must be 0. Self.send cache false. Self.withdraw cache false. So because the customer must register to turn all those into true, or must meet certain condition before the whole thing is turned into true. So we define the function register, which takes self, then name, number, and pin, and the cache, which is 0. So cache is equal to self.cache and name is equal to self.name. And the conditions for register is false because we have to meet these conditions before it becomes true. So the conditions are: the number, your number must be 7 digits, not more, not less, and your pin must be 3 digits, not more, not less. So this is what this function is here to check. So let's do an if statement here, and I said if the length of the string format of number is less than 7, or the length of the string format of number is greater than 7, then you print invalid number. The number must be 7 digits, and then the conditions remains false. Elif means else if the length of your pin is less than 3, or the length of your pin is greater than 3, then you print your pin must be 3 characters or digits. Conditions remains false. So let's say the customer or the person registering has entered the pin to be 3 digits or characters, and the number he or she has entered to be 7. The numbers are always 10, but this is just our own system. We can choose the number whoever we want. So if this person has entered the correct details as required, then the conditions will become true. So that's why there is another if here. So if the conditions equals to true, then we will print you have successfully registered to the system. Then we have to save your details for the next time. You'll just have to log in. You don't have to register every time you visit the system. So to save the details, remember at the beginning we set the self.customers list to be empty because we didn't have any customer. Now that one has registered, we have to save his or her details. So to save, we are going to use a txt. We are not going to save it anywhere on any database. So we are just, for this purpose, we use txt file to save the name and the pin, and even the pin we just save it on the txt. So let's open customer details list. Will include the name, the number, this is the phone number, the pin, and the amount in his or her balance. So let's now open a txt file with the name of this person so that we can write all his property under his or her name. So with open f self.name.txt, this .txt is important because it tells us the file format of the how we are going to save the name. So we are going to save it as a text file. So the word .txt must be there, comma, w. So w here means write or stand for write. So you can open a txt file in 3 ways. You can open it under w, which is write. This will only write. And you can open it as r, which is read. And you can also open it as a, which is read and write. So we are opening it as w, and we are giving it a simple name of f, so that we don't have to type this whole thing when we are referring to the details. So then we are creating a for loop here for details in the self.customer list. For every detail in this list, the list or the just these four things that the customers return, the name, the number, and the so the for every details in the customer detail list, write the details separated with an enter. This means enter. So write the string format of details separated with enter. So let's say you can separate txt file in different ways. First, you can do a dash like that, but that when we don't want, you can do, if it is a csv comma separated value, you can do a comma, but for this we are just going to do enter, such that when we press enter, we can, the other name will just be written like this one. Then we press again enter, so the name will be at the top, then the number will follow, and then the pin and the balance. So that is what I wanted to demonstrate here. So let's just close this. I just wanted to show you what this line stand for. It just mean write the name, press enter, write the number, press enter, write the pin, press enter, write the cache, press enter. So that's it for register, and once all this, the name will be created. So when the customer has registered, so he or she will now need to log in to the system to start using it. So that is why we are defining another function called login. So that function will take this parameter self, name, number, and pin, and we don't need cache to register. Or this, you can remove the name too. You can just add number and pin, or name and pin, whichever you like, but for this I just write them all. You can remove one of the between either number or name. So excuse the noise, I'm in a very noisy place, just bear with me. So with open, we now want to open the customers list, so that when you are let's say you want to log in, we have not created that part yet, but this is like the user interface, or user that will be sent to you. So we'll create that later, but you will be prompted to enter your name, number, and pin. So when you've entered those, then this function will take effect and will open with open f dot name, the name that you've entered, this name here dot txt. So here we wrote the word txt, let's say self.name.txt, this one. So we'll open the txt, the file with the name that you've entered, and read it. We are opening it as read, and we'll create it as f. So for details will now be f.read. Here was f.write. So remember these terms. And what are we reading? We are reading the self.customer list is equal to details.split. We have to split it the way we wrote it, because if you don't split it, then the computer won't understand what it is reading. It may even read one line and give you a wrong answer, that the number is not, or the person is not a customer. So what are we reading? We are reading all the details that you've entered, these three: number, name, and pin. So if the string format of number is in the self.customer list, then we are checking again if the string format of pin is in the self.customer list. So we are just seeing if whatever you've written is in the customer list, then self.logged-in become true. Now self.logged-in, initially it was false, it was here, logged in was false, but now that you've entered the right number, name, and pin, the self.logged-in becomes true. So if the self.logged-in is equal to true, print the name of the person that has logged in and say you are logged in now. Else, if the details does not match, or the computer cannot find it in the self.customer details list, then you just write you've entered wrong details, or that means that the person may not even be registered to the system but is trying to access the system. So that is it for the login and register. So let's just go back. As you saw in that introduction where I showed you a very simple Word document, I showed you that the time, date, and a confirmation are all required for the transaction to be stored in the M-pesa database. So let's create that time and the date and the confirmation code plus the transaction fee amount. So for that, for the date and time, we are going to use the date time. It is a very good one, but you can use, there are so many other packages that can allow you to create date and time. So we are going to define current date. It is a function because we want to be calling this function, and every time this function is called, it will run and give you the correct time. Otherwise, if you don't create it as a function, just insert it once, then once the person logged in, the time at which he or she logged in will be the one displayed throughout the time he is logged in. But we don't want that. We want every time one make a transaction, the current time must be shown even if he or she has not logged out. So for that, we are creating the time, and for time we are defining current time. It is a function, so we have to create this means it's a function. So time is equal to date time, and in date time there's a method called another date time. So date time dot now to means the current time that we are in. And if you just leave it like this one, it will give you the date, time, seconds, all those, but we don't want that. We only want the time in hour, minute, and PM or AM. So for that, we are using this string format of time, and we are formatting it to %I, capital I, to give us time in 12-hour clock system. Then put this colon, then %M, capital M. This datetime is case sensitive, so if you just place small m or the number, it will give you a different thing. And percentage small p to give you the PM or the AM. So excuse. Then once this function has been called, we return the time. That's very simple. Then let's continue to the current date. Is just the same thing, and I decide to call it today. Today means the day that you are in at the time of using the services. So it is just the same thing, date time dot now. Then we are just using the string format to get the date. You can see that from here to here is just the same thing. The only difference is how you are formatting this to get what you want. So remember, there we are using everything is in lowercase, but up here these two are in uppercase and this is in lowercase. So %D to give us the date, %M, and we are using the slash to separate them, %small m to give us the month, and %small y to give us the year. Then once this function has been called, we are going to return today. So I hope that is done and you've all understood. Then let's create the confirmation code. Now this is a bit trickier. So we are defining the confirm code or the confirmation code, and we are setting it to while true because we want this number to be generated until further notice. Okay, that's not a good term, but we want to be generated infinitely. So the transcode means transaction code. So transcode, this thing is systematic. So the time of registering or recording this, the first two of the M-pesa confirmation are R and A. This thing changes with the time, but you can just use, you don't have to do this, you can just pick it from by using this random, but I just decided to use RA so that it's just becomes systematic, so that after every certain period I can just change this to RB, then this will be random. So for this we are going to use the random. As you can see up here, we add this from random, import random integer or rand in, and from random again import choice, random.choice. So those are the two that we are going to use. So let's say we want to create a list of numbers from where we will pick one number randomly until it is 10. And remember, this code has to be 10 digits of numbers and letters, so that because it is the one representing the transaction on both sides, so it has to be secured, and it has to be randomly generated and hard to copy or to trace. So for this, let's just create a for loop for I in the range of 4, because this is 2, so we need 4 numbers and 4 letters, so that total it will be 10. So for the I in the range of 4, I is equal to a character in the random integers between 965 and 90. So numbers have letters and letters have numbers in Python. So for this, what we are saying that choose one character of the letters, corresponding letters between 65 and 90. In other words, choose any capital letter and return it as I. This will give us just numbers, normal alphabetical numbers in capital letters. So that is what this function is telling us. These numbers, we want their corresponding characters, which are letters. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. If I'm wrong, just correct me in the comment section. Then for the second, we have for another for loop. This is 4 and this is another for loop. For the j in the range of 4, you don't have to put this 4, but it will use this one automatically, and then it will be 4, but just use it for the sake. J is equal to choice. This could be random.choice, but choice of one number. So you choose one number from this numbers list and you add it after a letter. So it will be a letter, number, letter, number, number, letter, letter, number. So this is, as you can see here, it is from 1 through to 9 and 0, but I've decided to add some letters here so that you can add A to Z here in capital, so that the transaction code becomes stronger. Because this how do we call it, this method that I've used, just pick one letter then add it to 1, like let's say pick A, B, 2, C, D, like this one. So this is the one, but we don't want it this way. It is letter, number, letter, number, letter, number, letter. This is very easy to predict the next one, how it will look. So just add some letters here to make it a bit stronger, but that doesn't matter. You can just leave it that way. It will still be random, so it will be hard to predict. Then the transcode, which is this one here, it has this RA, so we want to add the one that we've generated here, so that it will become fully functional 10 digit. So the transcode is the string format of transaction code or transcode, plus I, which is 4. I is 4 letters, plus J, which is 4 numbers and letters. So total they are 10, and when this function is called, we are going to return the string format of transaction code. It has to be a string format because it will consist of letters and numbers. I hope you know that. So after getting the string format, let's now define the transaction fee. In M-pesa, every amount has a different transaction fee, and that is same with any other payment method, even the banks. So let's define the transaction fee, which takes in the amount. So amount is, we will define it when we are we're creating the send money, withdraw cash, buy item. We'll create the amount, or you'll see the amount while we reach there. But for now, let's just use that if the amount that has been entered here is greater than 10 and the same amount is less than 49. So this means that between the amount has to be 11 to 49, you pay 0. 50 to 100 is 0. So let's say if the amount is greater than 500 but the same amount is less than 1000, this means 501 to 999, you pay 15 shillings. If the amount is 1001 and the amount is to 1499, you pay 25. If the amount is 1501 and the amount to 2499, you pay 40, and so on and so forth. So this is just a simple one. So this I'm not going to create different transaction fee for different method, because send money fees and withdraw money fees are totally different, and it is different to the pay bill or pay for services fee. So there are 3 or more than 3 types of service fee that M-pesa is charging, but for this we don't want this thing to be too long, so we are just going to use this for every transaction. But feel free to create your own for all those. So if the amount is greater than 50,000 but less than 70,000 or equal to, this means that it is 50,000 to 50,001 to 70,000, or 5,001 to 7,500, or the amount has to be greater than 10 but less than or equal to 49. Then this is how I calculated the transaction fee. So that's it for this, and thanks so much for coming along with me, and I'll see you all in the next video.